Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. You know, we love the arts here at the TED Show, and I personally do too. And I'm super excited to have Dr. Andrew Minear from Opera Orlando on the show today. He's not going to opera us, but he's going to give us kind of a 411 on what's going on in the Opera Orlando world. They have a show, All Is Calm, the Christmas Miracle. It's not the Christmas Miracle, but it's the Christmas Truce of 1914. If you don't know that story, it is an amazing story, and you should Google it. And we're going to talk about their upcoming shows for All Is Calm. Welcome, Andrew. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Super excited. Whenever Desiree says, I'd like this person to be on the show, I always know we're going to have a good time and we're going to learn a lot. Before we get into All Is Calm and Opera Orlando and what that is, tell them a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, my name is Andrew Minear, and I was born and raised right here in the Orlando area, a graduate of Winter Park High School, and have always been a musical kind of guy. I grew up in a musical family and went on to major in music education at the Florida State University, and also did my master's degree there, also in choral music education. And along the way, I spent many years teaching in Orange County Public Schools. I taught at Southwest Middle School. I taught at my alma mater, Winter Park High School. I taught at Dr. Phillips High School for a number of years. And then I went on and did my doctorate degree, went to Michigan State University. It's an amazing school for choral music. And we survived 3 very, very cold winters there. Great experience, learned a lot, and with the goal of landing in higher education, which is what I did. After completing that time in Michigan, I became the director of choral activities at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. We have a famous football team you might have heard of. And
Just a little bit.
You're right. And I got to conduct choirs and teach conducting and graduate choral literature. I always say that if you ever need to know anything about obscure choral music from the 16th century, I'm your guy.
Yeah, you have to
So,
learn so much more. This isn't just you singing all the time. I think people misunderstand a music degree of any kind, bachelor's, master's, or doctorate. There is a lot of learning, education, understanding pieces, understanding obscure choral music from the
right.
16th century.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the actual music making is, that's the fun part. But there's a lot of music theory, a lot of history, and fitting it in the context of the socio-political times. And I think it's fascinating. And so, yeah, so I was doing that, and then we ended up moving back here, back home to Orlando. I had an illness in the family, and so we came back home to be close to family. And I taught at Freedom High School for 1 year mid-pandemic, mostly kind of half online, half in person. I was fortunate enough to open the brand new Lake Buena Vista High School last year as the chorus teacher there. It's a great school. And in the midst of that, I started a new performing arts nonprofit called Orlando Sings. And Orlando Sings is the home of the Orlando Sings Symphonic Chorus, a 100 voice strong choir. And we're doing a lot of really exciting things, including collaborating with the Orlando Philharmonic in a performance of Handel's Messiah on March 30th in Steinmetz Hall coming up, which is, people think about Messiah as a Christmas piece, but it really originally was premiered in Lent and Easter time. And so we'll be doing that. I'm really excited about that, and along with some brand new music with digital projections and things as a part of our choral festival in May. And we also have Solaria, which is a fully professional chamber choir, some of the finest singers in Central Florida, and they're amazing. And we have a performance coming up on the solstice on December 21st, the Solaria solstice, which will be at Timucua Arts Foundation, amazing venue. This
I love
world-class acoustic technology. We can turn the room into a cathedral or whatever kind of space we need, depending on the music. So we're doing, it's the solstice, so it's all kinds of music of the season. So Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, and then reflections about darkness and light and kind of new beginnings. And it's a beautiful program. We've just had our first rehearsals for it, and Solaria is sounding amazing. I can't wait to share
It's
that program with
exciting.
me. Yeah. And then we have Harmonia, which is an audition soprano alto chorus, which is brand new this year. We had so many people come to audition, we had to form a whole new choir. And they're just singing beautifully and it's building a wonderful sense of community there. And then we have our senior singers, which meets at Westminster Towers at Lake Lucerne each Wednesday. And that's for folks who are 60 plus, and we get together once a week and we sing and we have a lot of fun. And so those are kind of some of the things that are going on with Orlando Sings.
So
That's what
much.
I've been building since I got back home. And so I'm now full-time there, and which is also allows me opportunities and time to take on something like being the music director for Opera Orlando's production of All Is Calm, which is what we're here to talk about today. And I can't wait to dig in on that a little bit.
Yeah, let's dig in. Before we dig in on that, I haven't asked this question in a while. I haven't had a person with so much of a musical background as you on for a long time. Tell me what your go-to music is when you're bebopping around the house, or if you're a workout person. What's your actual music that you listen to? Is it the obscure 16th century choral music, or is it something else?
Yeah, I'm really eclectic. You know, my Spotify Wrapped that just came up labeled me the adventurer because I listen to so many different genres of music, I guess. My number one genre was predictably choral music. So I do actually really enjoy and listen to that quite a bit. But I'm really into jazz. I really like sort of alternative rock things like Phoenix, War on Drugs, that kind of vibe, Death Cab, those things. But also, I grew up with heavy metal, the hair bands, and love some hip hop and R&B, classic country, and you name it. I like all that.
You like it
stuff.
all.
Good
All right,
reggae.
let's talk about All Is Calm. If you don't know, I'm going to let you tell the story, but this story to me has always been a miraculous story. I think it's amazing what actually occurred. It was during World War One. So tell me a little bit of the background on the story, and then let's talk about the production itself.
It is really an amazing story. So, and it's a true story, which is one thing that makes this show so special, I think. So in 1914, World War I is trench warfare. So the Germans on one side, and this is in the Flanders Field, so what is now Belgium,
Yes.
And then the French and the British soldiers on the other side, and in between is about a football field length piece of ground that's called no man's land. And there's barbed wire in between, and they're constantly lobbing shells from one side or the other, and you have to stay down in your trench, otherwise, then you'll be killed.
Yes.
And it's very dangerous. It was very terrible conditions, especially in the winter. They're getting frostbite. There's really nowhere to sleep except you just kind of lean against the mud wall. There's rats. There's lice, and that's actually. In part of the show, the soldiers talk a little bit about the rats and the lice in a fairly humorous way, actually. And then it came time for Christmas Eve, and the soldiers on either side started singing Christmas carols. And I guess they would sometimes sing anyway, just popular songs of the day. And they're so close together that you could hear each other. You could even hear them cough or clear their throat on a quiet night. And so when they started singing, they realized that, wait, we're singing some of the same songs. Stille Nacht, Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht, which we, of course, know as Silent Night. And so now we have these soldiers who minutes before were trying to kill each other are now singing together, and even came out of the trenches and exchanged gifts, took pictures together, got to know each other, played football, played soccer, and had a peaceful, beautiful Christmas together. And then the sad sort of epilogue to that is that then the officers made them all get back to their trenches. This is unauthorized, what they were doing. And then the war restarted and went on for another 3 years,
Yeah.
sadly. And
It,
so
it's an amazing, to me, it's just such an amazing story. The fact that there are photographs of it are also is amazing to me. I think that just is such a this time of year always brings out, I think, the best in most of the time, the best in people, and so it's just so wonderful to see. I mean, that is the ultimate form of dropping your guard and really getting into the spirit of what the holidays are all about. I Every time I read it, I think, God, 100 and well, now it's 108 years ago. You just can't believe that they could overcome those insane war conditions that they were in, literally trying, like you said, trying to kill each other the day before, maybe even the day of, and then somehow that wonderful spirit came in and over them, and they were able to put it down even for a couple of hours.
well, and that's the power of music and building
Yes.
community and bringing people together. And you, the I think you said the vulnerability that requires, the voice is an instrument that we carry with us all the time, right? And it's so a part of our sense of self, and it's very personal to share your voice as a singer. Unlike other instruments where a trumpet or violin, where they're outside of you, singing is a very deeply personal thing to do and a very humanizing thing to do. And I've just personally experienced over the years the power of that, and the power of people that otherwise would not have been in the same room together. You think about high school and all the social pressures and the cliques and everything, but you come into the chorus room, it doesn't matter. All that stuff melts away, and you can just be who you are and create beauty together and collaborate together. And I always say that to sing together in an ensemble is a microcosm for how we all ought to be in the world, right? We listen to each other. We work together towards building something beautiful to then share out with the world. Sometimes it might be time for you to take the lead and be the soloist. Other times it might be the time for you to step back and be in a supporting role. And uh, I always think, like, when the G8 summit, or these big political gatherings happen, if they would all stand up and sing together before sitting down to talk, that the meetings would all be much more productive. And then in this particular story with the Christmas truce of 1914, the soldiers didn't have an orchestra there, and so in this production there's no orchestra. So in that way, it's not like your typical opera with a big cast and orchestra and everything. It is purely these 9 soldiers, or nine actors, singers, who are playing, actually lots of soldiers, more than 9, and it's just them and their voices, a cappella, singing the actual songs that were sung at the actual event in 1914. The same Christmas carols, the same popular songs of that time. And we know this because they wrote about it in letters home and in their diary entries. And all the words that are spoken in this show are the words of the actual soldiers in those documents that we now have. And that's another thing that's really powerful about it, is that it's not just sort of looking at this thing that happened from 30,000 feet. It is really personal. It's these actual young men, 18, 19, sometimes younger, actually, because some of them kind of snuck in because they wanted to go off for the adventure of war before they realized how terrible it really is when they get there.
Such a
And another thing,
beautiful. Go ahead.
I was going to say, another thing about that is that it's not just told from the sort of the English perspective. You hear from the English soldiers and from the German soldiers, because that's one thing that they discovered in this time together, is that, hey, we're just the same. Like, there's this one line in the play, like, we are Saxon, you are Anglo-Saxon. Why are we trying to kill each other? And
Exactly.
and so this sort of just using the voices, I think, is another way that this show so powerfully humanizes and personalizes the story in such a way that you really get to kind of reflect on what it must have been like for those men, and to remember them. And for every time that they say the words of a soldier, they sign off by actually saying their name and their rank and where they're from.
Gives me
And
chills, just like
yeah,
the story
it's really,
itself, but the personalization of it. And I did not know the fact that it's a cappella. Um, that just seems to me like, I don't know, is there a dry eye in the house? Because I feel like I know it's a beautiful story, but it's also such a moving story.
yeah, I'll tell you, we had our first performance, our tour performance in Lakeland last Friday, and there are some moments in the show that I well up every time, that are just really powerful. And sometimes it's powerful in a very tragic, sad way, and sometimes it's powerful in this the beauty of it, and the beauty of the resilience of the human spirit. When their dignity and everything else has been stripped away, that you can't take away your voice, and you can't take away your ability to love your neighbor, and it's really powerful.
I'm excited. So tell them, what is the best way for them to find out how to get tickets, when the dates are coming up? Give them the 411 on what's coming up and how they can get involved and attend.
Absolutely. So our next performance is coming up this Sunday in Sanford, and so we're really excited about that one, and bringing it up to Seminole County. I know my 97-year-old grandpa, who was a World War II veteran, will be in attendance there, because that's close to where he lives. So that's really special for me, to be able to share the story with him, and to talk with him about it. And then we'll be performing at the VA hospital in Lake Nona, a free performance for veterans there. And then our main stage performances will be in Steinmetz Hall, the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts, the evening of December 23rd, and then a matinee on Christmas Eve on the 24th, the actual day that these events happened back in 1914. So I think it'll be a beautiful way to spend some family time together. I know I'm going to bring my kids along on the Christmas Eve show, and it's going to be really special in that gorgeous concert hall, acoustically perfect, and the beautiful lighting, and there might even be some snowfall. And
All right.
so go to operaorlando.org, and you can find out all about it. And you can find info about tickets for the performance in Sanford this weekend, and then a link to the box office at the Dr. Phillips Center for December 23rd and 24th.
It's exciting. And Desiree, we've got to give you a shout out. She's amazing. She is also part of Opera Orlando, a big part. And she just brings people together. She's so good at this. And so kudos to her. Got to give her a shout out. Andrew, thank you so much. I'm super excited for the show. I'm super excited to see it come to life, especially as an opera, as a musical, because you are right, that music transcends so many things, all things, really. And to have them share their individual voices and sing the songs and talk about the soldiers that were involved. I don't know. I just don't know how you can't leave there motivated and inspired by the music and the story. So thank you. It's All Is Calm, the Christmas Truce of 1914. You can go to operaorlando.org, or you can reach out to me or Andrew or Desiree, of course, and we will get you there. This is a great way for you to celebrate the beautiful things that go on in this season, and the beautiful humanity of it all with the music that you're going to love. So thank you, Dr. Andrew Minear, for coming on the show. Thank you, Desiree. Y'all are always looking for something cool to go to and to attend. You're asking me about it all the time. I highly recommend this. The story is amazing.
And
all right, thank you.
And don't miss the Solaria Solstice on the 21st at Timucua. There are only a few tickets left. The first show is sold out, and we only have a few left for the later one. So you can double up that week and do two really inspiring, beautiful things that are featuring the voice, and you'll be changed and inspired and moved for sure. So thank you so much for chatting. It's good to be
Thank
here.
you so much. We'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.